Jujutsu no Kaisen. For those of you who don't know what that is, it's basically a fan-made rewrite or new ending for Jujutsu Kaisen starting at chapter 236. Now, the first half of the first chapter was released yesterday, and people have had some very mixed responses on it. Okay, no, I say very mixed. It's like literally 90% of people don't like it. The guy who made it put out a poll, and the result came in, 90% of people hate it. There are a massive range of criticisms it's got, especially after being hyped up by the guy making it for such a long time now. Most of the criticism is valid, and I completely agree. Some of it is a bit overdramatic, and people need to just chill out a bit, but we'll talk about that more later. So yeah, for this video, we're just gonna go through the first chapter of Jujutsu no Kaisen, see what things are good, see what things are absolutely terrible, and see what things are even more terrible. Because I'll be honest, it is pretty much just 95% complete trash. Yeah, this is gonna be a bit of a rant video, I'm not gonna lie. Oh well, like and subscribe, I appreciate it a lot. Happy 1-year anniversary to the channel, and let's just get right into reviewing this absolute... I don't even know. Very briefly, before I actually get into all of the criticisms and massive issues that this fan rewrite has, I'm just gonna go through and kind of review what actually happened in this chapter. So, as we know, it's the first half of chapter 236 that the guy is going to release, and it's basically just Gojo's airport scene, and then Kashimo vs Sukuna starts. For whatever reason, they just completely remove all of Gojo's peak fiction dialogue in the airport scene. Everything that happened just kind of gets chucked out the window. No mention of Gojo's isolation, no mention of Sukuna, no mention of Megami. Literally nothing of importance really happens. And yeah, they're just sort of in the airport. He sees Geto. Geto's like, hey, come with me through this secret door. If you come through this door, then you'll see all of your friends again, and we can live happily ever after. And then, of course, we don't actually see Gojo going through the door, but he does supposedly talk to the people on the other side. And then we get a shot of the people on the other side watching a plane take off without Gojo there. Now, from what I've heard, the guy making this was actually a big Gojo fan and not too happy with the fact that he wasn't ever revived. So, judging by how this airport scene went and the fact that he removed all of the peak full circle conclusion to Gojo's story, it means somewhere down the line he's almost definitely gonna revive Gojo, which is already terrible, like, we know this. But what's even crazier about that is, for some reason, the people Gojo sees on the other side of this door is Nanami, Yuki, Yaga, Haibara, and Ijichi. Yeah, that's right. For some reason, the guy was just like, do you know what? I'm gonna off-screen Ijichi and put him in the airport. I don't see any real reason for that, but cool. Also, for some reason, in the art style, Yuki is like so much smaller than everyone else, even though she's canonically 6'2", and also Geto is the only guy here with dark hair. Ijichi, Haibara, and Yaga are all blonde for some reason. But yeah, basically, he just took the peak fiction airport scene and turned it into an utter shitstorm. And then at the end of that, we cut back to that kind of panel of Gojo lying there, cut in half, and Sukuna does his whole, you are magnificent, Satoru Gojo. But wait, because what actually happens is, the narrator says Sukuna drained all of his efforts and energy fighting his opponent, who was very strong. Yeah, this some, like, actual Disney Channel-ass fucking writing we got here, bro. Like, what is this dialogue? The guy making it, or maybe group of people making it, I'm not sure, were promising people something that was just better than what Gege wrote. Nobody read this chapter and listened to that dialogue and was like, yes, this is peak fiction, so much better than what Gege wrote. But more on the kind of dialogue issues and other issues with the actual construction of the chapter in a moment. Everything else plays out pretty much the same way as the actual canon material, I'm not gonna lie. Kashimo jumps in, he does look a bit cooler, to be fair, and I think he uses Mythical Beast Amber a bit earlier on in the fight. They kind of, you know, throw hands a little bit. Basically, the art is just kind of good. I'm not gonna give him any credit for the art because it's not his, but the art is good. And yeah, they just kind of, you know, fight around. Kashimo looks cool, and then at the end of the chapter, Kashimo throws a big attack. Sukuna's stomach mouth then appears on Megana's body and absorbs the blow. Like, it literally just eats Kashimo's attacks. And that's the first half of the chapter. That's all we actually really get. Now, considering we started at chapter 236, all this really did was just delete the airport scene, which was the best part of the chapter because no one gave a crap about that farmer Kashimo. Bro just redrew Kashimo versus Sukuna with other people's art, pretended it was his, used AI to tweak it and upscale it, and then just removed all of Gojo's perfect conclusion and said, here you go. Here is the new and improved chapter for 236 that Gege couldn't give us. So yeah, really, it's not a good look for the fan rewrite that has been hyped up by this guy or team of guys for such a long time now. I was never really that invested in it, but I know a lot of people were, and this is what you get, because believe it or not, guys, you're not Gege. Gege is built different. He's one of the most successful mangakas of all time, and he really does not get enough credit for what he made. But yeah, so that's pretty much just what happens in the chapter. We kill Ijichi, we then don't give Gojo anything of value at all. The dialogue is crap, and Sukuna just kind of fights Kashimo, and then that's where it ends. The only good thing that we do get in this chapter is actually a single page that marks the start of Arame versus Hakari. For some reason, the guy has decided that Arame's name is no longer Arame and changed it to Urume. I really don't know why. But yeah, if there's anything that will come out of this clown car of a fan rewrite, it's that we might actually get to see Hakari versus Arame. Like, everything else will probably be trash, but considering Gege never wrote that fight, it would be nice to see some actual artwork of Hakari versus Arame. That's genuinely the only thing I'm looking forward to. Everything else, I have no hope at all. Oh, and also, Arame does kind of look hella cold in that panel, but Hakari, it's just a trace JJK panel, and he looks so weird, I don't know. And yeah, that's it. That's what happens. It's trash. It is just trash, I'm sorry. So with the recap out the way, let's just start complaining about stuff. First, the dialogue, okay? The dialogue is trash. It's just trash. I already read you out the statement from the narrator where it says, oh, Sukuna drained all his energy fighting his opponent who was very strong. But it also just gives a running commentary of the entire chapter with every unnecessary movement and every unnecessary thing that happens that just doesn't need to be explained. Like, it shows Kamatoke falling from the sky, and the panel says Kamatoke fell from the sky, and then Sukuna catches Kamatoke, and the narrator says Sukuna now has the weapon in his hands, and it's like, okay, we get the point. I have eyes, I can see what's happening. How they wrote this and decided it was so much better than what Gege did, I don't know. Maybe they just couldn't read and they were like, this shit needs to be explained in more detail. Honestly, it looks like it's been written by ChatGPT. It feels so off. All the interactions in the airport scene feel so unnatural. The narrator is like, I don't know, easily negative IQ narrator. I don't know what to say. It's just, the dialogue's bad. However, don't go hating on the guy too much, because it is very clear to see from reading the chapter and from just reading his tweets in general that the guy is not an English speaker, okay? He doesn't, it's clearly not his first language, so I'm sure he's trying his best. I don't really blame the dialogue for being bad. I know a lot of people got their hopes up and actually thought this series would be good, which I can't lie is your own fault for believing that. Just remember, at the end of the day, he's just a fan. He doesn't owe you anything. He's not Gege. You don't need to go hating on it. There was no legal requirement for this shit to be good, so relax. But yeah, the dialogue thing I can kind of, you know, it's bad, but I can let slip because it's very clear that he's not an English speaker. So, you know, we'll just move on from that. And now it's time to discuss the only part of this fan manga that I think is actually bad, like morally questionable bad, and that's the artwork. He kind of made it seem as if he'd maybe got an artist or was an artist himself to actually draw this stuff in Gege's style. Now, I'm not upset that it's not in Gege's style because I admit some of it looks really cool and I didn't just want a carbon copy. However, how he actually made the art is just, it's just bad. Like, it's just wrong. You shouldn't do it. But he's gone and taken a load of panels from Jujutsu Kaisen, taken a load of panels from other mangas like One Punch Man, and taken fan arts made by the fans and then just traced over it and used AI to make it look different and higher quality. It's literally just copied art that's been traced over and AI art. Okay, people were disappointed again because for some reason they had expectations of this series. I'm personally not too bothered that they used AI. I just don't really care that much. I mean, I know some people do. It doesn't really bother me. I also don't really care that he traced over panels from Jujutsu Kaisen. I don't know why, but in my mind, I imagined he would use a lot of the raw material anyway, so I'm not too bothered about him using JJK to make a new JJK. Now, in this panel where Kashimo hits Sukuna, it's actually a direct copy of One Punch Man. I haven't read One Punch Man, but I have seen the panel. If you know, you know. Yeah, that's a bit iffy taking from other mangas, but, you know, it is what it is. The really bad thing, though, is just taking, you know, fan arts. He's just taking people who have spent a lot of time, you know, dedicated to making these arts for themselves, for other people. A lot of work goes into it, and he's just taken it, given them no credit. He's got no permission, and the worst part about it is that he's acting as if he has made it. He's just taken work that other people has done and is acting as if it's his. That's like the definition of copyright infringement right there. You know, if you use it creatively, constructively, you give credit, you get permission, okay, then sure, it's fine. I'm not going to complain about it too much. But just straight up tracing over it and hoping no one's going to notice, pretending that you made this yourself, yeah, that's just not cool. Don't do that. It's morally questionable. It's wrong. Just don't do it. But as for the rest of it, it's AI. It's kind of traced over panels from the existing manga. There's loads of threads on Twitter explaining it. I get why people are hating on it because they had higher expectations. I don't really care that he used AI though. The art is, it's kind of crappy as well. I'm not gonna lie at times. Like the very first panel of this chapter is literally a shot of the airport where the plane is clipping through the building. And this shit has way too many windows to be a plane. Like it's just so egregiously AI that it's just not nice. I don't know. But yeah, that's it for the art. It's just bad. That's what makes this whole thing actually hateable, is the fact that it's just wrong to take other people's art and pretend like you made it. But yeah, moving on to my final point. Yeah, the final issue that I kind of wanted to talk about, which a lot of people are bringing up, is the way that the guy or the team of people that made this hyped up the series for so long and the way that they spoke about it compared to what we actually got in the end. Basically, it seemed like this guy just had a massive ego, like genuinely huge. He looked at JJK and was like, this shit is trash. It's so trash. I could do so much better than one of the best mangakas in the world, so let me try. And then I'm gonna go on the internet and tell absolutely everybody that I'm gonna make something better than Gege and then not deliver on that promise. Now, again, please remember guys, he's just a fan. He's not Gege. He can say whatever he wants. He can think whatever he wants about himself. It doesn't change anything. It changes nothing, okay? The guy is not a mangaka. He's not Gege. You don't need to go relentlessly reminding him this, okay? I do think sometimes people need to grow up a bit and just ignore it and not give it attention. But yeah, it's definitely distasteful and it is low-key toxic to go and shit on the mangaka whose mental health has kind of been in the bin for making this series, mainly because everyone just shits on him. But at the end of the day, Gege is, you know, he created a masterpiece and it should be respected. My problem isn't with the fact that this guy created a fanfiction, because loads of people create fanfictions. It's the exact same level of copyright on JGK as any other fanfiction. Even I make what-if videos and rewrites from time to time, but obviously there's an element of respect that has to come with that, and this guy did not have that element of respect, which is what a lot of people are getting angry about. There are even some tweets from him that people have been pulling up where he's like made memes of Gege handing him a sword in some, I don't know, nerdy kind of meme that I don't know the context behind it, but like, you get the point. It's like Gege's gonna be looking up to it going, oh my god, this guy's so good, I wish I did that. And he kind of was talking about the series as if he expected it to blow up to the same level that Jujutsu Kaisen did. It feels like he wanted week by week hype and everyone to get excited and love it. And he put out a poll asking if people liked the first chapter, and 90% came back with no. Basically, he's got a load of hate. I think it's, you know, a bit much. People just need to learn to move on and forget about it, but it is what it is. The guy since responded saying that he's taking these negative comments and basically just gonna fix the dialogue up a bit because he acknowledges it as an issue. He is completely ignoring all of the accusations of literally tracing over other people's artwork because, of course, there's no way he can fix that. What's he gonna do? Apologize? No. Hell, he even went on Twitter and said he hoped Gege commented on his new ending. Bro, Gege has not even seen this shit. There's no way he'd comment on it, and if he did say it, bro, you're in trouble because his legal team is gonna take you down so fast. But yeah, Gege realistically doesn't know this exists, and if he does, he probably doesn't care because no one else does either. If anything, it's kind of helpful because it's making people look at what Gege actually wrote and go, oh my god, that wasn't so bad. But as for people claiming that it's like, you know, really disrespectful and it's going to taint the legacy of Jujutsu Kaisen, just grow up. Like, it's a bit dramatic to say it's going to taint Jujutsu Kaisen. At the end of the day, it's a fanfic. It's literally a fanfiction. If you look at YouTube comment sections on JJK content creators, especially on what if videos, bro, the amount of people who say they think they could do a better job than Gege, this guy is definitely not the first person to have thought that or have an ego like this. He just happened to get some attention from it because he actually followed through and tried to do it. It's really not an uncommon opinion to have. Unfortunately, people are just like that. But yeah, it's not going to taint anything about JJK. It's not going to ruin its legacy. It's not going to ruin anything because it's not canon. Gege didn't write it. This guy's not a mangaka. It's not official work. It's literally just a fanfiction. The only way it's going to taint anything about JJK's legacy is if we let it. And it's just stupid because it seems like people are letting it. It's like they're taking to the internet wanting this thing to ruin JJK so that they can have something to hate on. Just move on. Just ignore it and move on. If you don't like it, don't read it. Don't need to go and like make it a big deal, bro. He's just a guy writing a fanfic who thought he did something and he did not do something. The only thing that I actually think he did, which is outright wrong and deserves an apology of some kind, is just straight up claiming other people's artwork is his own. That's it. Sure, it's hella toxic to have the mindset of, oh, I did it so much better than Gege and all that, and post those memes about Gege looking up to him like some kind of god. You know, it's just one guy on the internet, bro. People say shit like this all the time. People shit on Gege constantly. And honestly, I hate the argument of it's disrespectful to Gege and it's straight up plagiarism. Because, bro, myself included, we all sat there week to week and literally read through leaks of Jujutsu Kaisen. That is the ultimate disrespect to Gege. It's literally stealing his work, leaking it for free, and then everyone talking about it. I think it's just hypocritical for everyone to go and, you know, have a go at him for straight up plagiarizing and, you know, disrespecting Gege when we all sat there and read the leaks. Realistically, it's not any worse than literally taking this man's entire life's work and leaking it on the internet for everyone to see before it's meant to be released. That is the ultimate disrespect. So everyone needs to kind of just take a step back and relax about it a bit, because the only way it's going to ruin anything is if we let it. But yeah, overall, it's just a complete shit show. It's terrible, terrible writing. I'm of course going to keep reading it and probably make a few more videos on it when more releases, because I'm not going to lie, I love the chaos. But yeah, it's really not great at all. I'm not trying to defend it in any way. I'm just trying to reality check some people out there who are really very delusional, including the guy who wrote it himself. He's clearly delusional as hell as well. But yeah, that's kind of my rant over for this utter shitstorm of I don't even know. Anyway, make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed. I don't think anyone will have any strong opinions about this video, to be honest. But yeah, leave a comment with whatever kind of videos you want me to make. Feel free to join the Discord and follow me on Twitter, links below. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in a bit.